Hey everyone, I'm Shah. In this video, I'll discuss how you can improve your AI apps with error analysis. I'll start by explaining what this is and why we should care about it, and then walk through a concrete example where I used this method to get GPT 4.1 to write LinkedIn posts in my style. The whole motivation of this method is the fact that large language models are probabilistic systems. In other words, we can't be 100% certain about the output that we're going to get from one of these models, even if you give it the same exact input. For example, if we go to ChatGPT or your favorite large language model and you ask it a question like, what does probabilistic mean? You might get a response that looks something like this. Probabilistic means something is based on probability rather than certainty. Instead of always giving the same outcome, it gives different outcomes depending on chance, randomness, or likelihood. But if you open up a new chat window and then paste the same exact input, you might get a different output. That might be probabilistic means something is based on probability. It involves uncertainty and can have multiple possible outcomes, each with a certain likelihood. If you do this one more time, you might get probabilistic means based on probability, something that involves chance, uncertainty, or likelihood, rather than being fixed or certain. On one hand, the fact that LLMs are probabilistic is actually a really beneficial thing. It allows them to be very flexible and give human-like responses to a wide range of inputs. But on the other hand, this does present some unique challenges when we're trying to build on top of these models to create software that solves real-world problems in a reliable way. So the question here is, how do we build reliable software on top of an unpredictable model? And so one answer to this question is error analysis, which consists of identifying a machine learning model's most severe mistakes in order to guide its improvement. In other words, we're trying to figure out what are the most common failures that come up for our machine learning system and resolving those failures in a systematic way. This is kind of like if you have a sink full of dirty dishes. One approach might be just grabbing the dishes at the top of the pile first and washing those, so grabbing the most convenient ones first. Or an alternative method would be to wash the dishes from the biggest down to the smallest. These two images are showing the resulting pile after just washing 3 dishes. But you can see if we start with the biggest one, we get the pile down to like 50% of its original size, while this approach up here, the pile looks basically the same. Error analysis is kind of like the second approach. You're still doing work to resolve these errors, but you're getting a much higher return on your effort because you're attacking the problems in an optimal way. That was just a metaphor for error analysis. What does this actually look like in practice? This has been around for a while in machine learning. It's not something specific to large language models. And traditionally, the way this would look is, let's say you're trying to do an image classification task. Error analysis would consist of gathering all the mistakes your classification model made, going through them one by one, and doing the following annotations. On the left, we have images that were wrongly classified. And then what we want to do here is to cluster these mistakes into subtypes. I have 3 subtypes here. Here is a muffin that maybe looks like a chihuahua. The second subtype is a pet that is in a costume of another animal. Finally, we have an animal cracker. So maybe our model got confused about this. What we're going to do is just go step by step and first identify what error subtype this was. So this is a muffin. In our notes section, we say muffin looks like chihuahua. So maybe our model got confused and thought this was a chihuahua. This next error will label as a pet in a costume. So we'll say dog is wearing a bear costume. So maybe it's actually a dog, but our model thought it was a bear. And then again, we have another muffin that looks like a chihuahua. And then finally, we have an animal cracker. So the cracker shaped like an elephant. Maybe the model thought this was an elephant when it's actually a cracker. So we'll do this for dozens or even hundreds of examples. And what we might find from this is 50% of our errors come from our model thinking muffins are chihuahuas. This gives us a very powerful insight highlight that our model's specifically getting tripped up from this. So maybe we can go analyze our training data to make sure there are no mislabeled examples, or we might notice that there are no muffin examples in the training data, but there might be a lot of Chihuahua examples, and so that's why the model is getting confused. So maybe the simple solution in that case would be to add a few examples of muffins to help the model. That's an example in traditional machine learning. However, when it comes to large language models, this process isn't so straightforward. And that's because with LLMs, we're typically not trying to do a classification task where there's a clear right or wrong answer, but rather we're getting these models to do open-ended things where there are multiple levels of correctness and wrongness. So to cope with this, we need to refine this error analysis process specifically for large language models. One way we can do this is through the following 5-step workflow. We'll start by curating 30 to 100 realistic inputs for our large language model. We'll then pass these inputs to our LLM or larger LLM system to generate outputs for them. Then we'll manually review these outputs one at a time. For this, we'll want to create a custom data annotator, and that's simply because LLM outputs tend to be very long. So if you try to do this in Excel or a similar program, it's going to add a lot of friction to the data annotation process, but I promise you this is much easier than it sounds. Then we will manually review all the input-output pairs and write notes on model mistakes. So here, unlike in the previous slide, we're not just looking at the errors the model made because we don't know which ones are errors and which ones are not. We have to look at all the outputs and write open-ended notes on them. And then finally, we can review all the open-ended notes and come up with error subtypes or categories and then analyze their frequency. This will basically allow us to triage failures and mistakes that the model is making so we can get the most return on our effort. Instead of just talking about these in abstract terms, I'm going to walk through a concrete example. Here I'm going to walk through error analysis of a LLM-based LinkedIn Ghostwriter. What I want to do is just give the LLM raw notes of LinkedIn post ideas, and then what I want is for it to write a LinkedIn post in my unique voice and style. This whole thing will be coded in Python. I'll be using GPT 4.1 for the LLM, and then we'll use Streamlit to create the custom data annotation tool. And as always, the code for this project is freely available on GitHub, and you can access it using the link here or in the description below. Before we can even do our 5-step process, we need to do a step 0, which is to write an initial prompt. This error analysis process I described earlier assumes that you already have an LLM system in place. For this project, I was starting from scratch. So what I did is I went to OpenAI's Playground and I just did a handful of iterations on this system prompt in this interface. So I really liked the Playground because one, it allows you to test out different system messages, which you can't do in ChatGPT. And it's a nice interface. It really takes the friction out of trying to iterate and improve on this prompt, and you can run the model many different times through this GUI, so you don't have to write any Python code. After about 15 or 20 minutes, I had a prompt that was good enough from a few vibe checks. Then I could start this error analysis process. Step 1 is to curate inputs. The goal here is to get a set of realistic inputs that you can pass into the LLM system so that you can generate outputs to analyze. I wrote these out in 2 ways. The first is I looked at my recent LinkedIn posts and wrote some quick notes on each of them. And then the other is I have a Notion database where I keep my LinkedIn content ideas. So I went back and grabbed different ideas that I had written over the past several months. The result of this is 49 different inputs that are close to what I expect to see when I actually use the final version of this system. So now that we have the inputs, we can generate outputs. This is simply taking these 49 inputs, passing them to GPT 4.1 one at a time, and generating 49 different responses. So this isn't just going to be a LinkedIn post by itself, but I'm getting the model to follow a specific workflow and to think through the problem, write some drafts, and then finally generate the final post. And so if you are curious about what the prompt looks like, it's long, so it wouldn't fit on the slides here, but I share it in the GitHub repo. You can check that out here. Now that we have our input-output pairs, now we need to analyze them. However, reading long responses from LLMs requires a lot of mental effort, so we want to make this process as streamlined and easy as possible. What I did here is I used Claude 4 via Cursor to vibe code a custom data annotator for this. This is what the resulting interface looked like. While I did need to do some tweaks to add some additional features and make the UI a bit more streamlined, basically Claude got most of the core components and logic in the first shot. So it took about 5 minutes to get the initial version, and then the tweaking and fine-tuning took another 15 minutes. So creating this whole interface was actually the quickest step in this 5-step process. And here I use Streamlit just because that's what I was comfortable with, but you can use any dashboarding tool you like. You could use Gradio for this, or you could even just make this with HTML and CSS, whatever you feel most comfortable with and what is easy for you. Now that we have the data annotator, now comes the meat of the error analysis process, which is the manual review. Here we have the interface running locally. So we have our input here, we have the LLM response here, so we can see it's quite long. This would be a nightmare to read if I was trying to use Excel or Apple numbers, but this was the main thing I looked at, which is where the model says final post. It said, want to make real money with your AI skills? Here are 5 proven paths I see working in 2024 and none require a PhD. And then it writes out the 5 points. The main thing here that I was looking for and taking notes on is mistakes. So basically the biggest mistake or thing I didn't like about this response is that the hook sounded too salesy. Want to make real money with your AI skills. It sounds like you're about to sell someone something. Also, it said 2024 when it's actually 2025, but that's not a big deal. These don't need to be super detailed, and I did find myself getting faster and faster the more I went through it because I would start to see patterns and identify common mistakes, but I would just go through this one at a time. For this one, I said system failed to use the hook provided by user, and then hook generated is weak. This is why you don't just want to look at the LLM response. You need to know what the input was to the system. Here, the input was basically a hook. AI principles I know at 29, I wish I had known at 24. And then scrolling down, we'll see what the LLM generated as the final post, which was, if I could send my 24-year-old self a note about AI, here's what it would say. And I feel like that's kind of weak. I would prefer this hook to this one. But basically that one failure took up my attention, and then I didn't really comment on anything else. The first several are going to be slow, but then you can see that my notes started getting longer and longer, and they start to have repeated patterns. And an optional thing that I did sometimes is to not just say what the model did wrong, but write notes on what the system could have done differently. So here I'm already thinking of ways to improve the system, which is getting it to generate more tokens when it comes to the hook, because it basically writes the hook in just one line in one shot, when it should be generating as many tokens as it can around the hook. So that was one of the fixes I did later on. Yeah, and then I have this area where I can add binary labels and then export the annotations. Going through all 49 posts took me about 90 minutes, but by the end of that, I went to step 5, which is categorizing the errors. So we have all these open-ended notes, unstructured qualitative insights about the model's mistakes. Now we need to make this more structured. And so the way to do that is I exported the CSV of the user input, LLM response, and my open-ended notes. And then I actually gave them to Claude and ChatGPT, and they came up with some categorizations. I found Claude actually did this pretty well, and it even counted it, and it was a lot faster than ChatGPT. But I didn't just take these as gospel. I actually just used this as additional notes to come up with the final categories on my own. The final result of this were these failure modes here. The most common one was this double CTA, where the model asked 2 questions at the end of the post, superfluous text after the CTA. So we actually saw that when we were walking through the dashboard right now. Bad hooks, weak and salesy ones. We saw that. This is one we didn't see, missing my insight on a topic. This isn't really something I can fix with a prompt, but basically if I just give the LLM a hook and don't really give it my insight on a topic, it can't really write a LinkedIn post for me. So that's not really an issue with the system, but more so with the inputs I'm passing into it. Other ones are uncharacteristic structures. So the body is structured weirdly. The model's not considering the hook that the user input. It didn't follow writing steps. The hook and the body don't flow well together. Others were just like factual errors. Once I decided on these failure modes, I actually went back to the annotation tool and then I added these labels. So these labels weren't here during step 4 when I was writing the open-ended notes. It was afterward when I went through and added all these binary labels. And then I just went through and did another round of labeling, but this time it was a lot faster because instead of writing out open-ended notes, I could just skim the notes and then quickly click on whichever failure mode it was. That allowed me to come up with real counts because I didn't really trust what Claude or ChatGPT came up with. And then I could target these most severe failures to improve the system. The first thing I fixed was this double CTA, telling the model just have one call to action. Another thing I did was add sub-steps to writing a hook. So instead of just having that as one step in the process, I had it have 3 sub-steps. So the model was forced to generate more tokens around writing a hook. And then overall, I just made the prompt better structured and more clear because it was having issues formatting things correctly. After this round of improvements, this is what these numbers look like. The model was no longer doing the double CTA. That went from 23 times to 0 times. There was no longer extra text after the CTA. That went to 0. The number of bad hooks went way down. So that went down to 4. Missing my insight on topic. So this went up, but I think I was just more sensitive and aware of this issue because I wasn't distracted by these failures up here. And basically everything got better along these different failure modes. But one of the downsides here is that every time I want to evaluate a new prompt, I need to go through this manual error analysis process all over again. This brings me to what's next. So right now what the process looks like is we have a prompt, we give it to the LLM, we use it to generate a set of responses, and then we manually review each of the responses and then refine the prompt and just go through this loop over and over again. However, we can automate this evaluation process. And so after doing this manually a few times, these failure modes should stabilize. So basically, I shouldn't be learning anything new about the system. The different failure subtypes should stabilize into, let's say, these 3. It lacks my voice, maybe it misunderstood the input, and then maybe still the hook is bad because it's hard to write a good hook. And then what we can do is basically create automated checks or evaluations for each of these failure modes. So this is ideally just like a code-based thing, but for some of these harder tasks like a bad hook, this is something that will require some kind of LLM judge. But once we automate it, where the evaluations are done by the computer instead of me, this iteration loop can just happen much more quickly and at a larger scale. That's what I'm going to talk about next time. So I hope this video was helpful. If you want to learn more, check out the references in the description below. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments section. And as always, thank you so much for your time and thanks for watching.